Back to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. The Tigers trying to finish off the Royals here in the final game in this series. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen back here at the ballpark. And Rod, as we look ahead to today's game, two of the best hitters in the American League will square off once again. Billy Butler's had a great series. And for the Tigers, Miguel Cabrera had that big hit in the first inning, which got the offense going yesterday. Two of the best in the game.
You know, but they're quite different hitters. When you start looking at a guy like Billy Butler, you're talking about a guy that gets lots of hits. He gets lots of doubles. He does not hit for that much power, but he does drive the ball the opposite way, and he has been a Tiger killer since coming to the major leagues. He also won a couple of batting titles in the minor leagues, but when you start talking about Butler and the comparison to Cabrera, one guy is an all-star, another guy is an MVP and going to the Hall of Fame if he continues his assault on American League pitching the way that he has done. I told you both guys hit the ball the opposite way, but one guy hits the ball in the seats. He gets lots of doubles. He already has 300 total bases this year, and he's also walked a ton. So you have two outstanding right-handed hitters, but they're different. One's an all-star for me. The other one is simply a Hall of Fame player.
And both will be in the lineup here this afternoon. The Tigers with a victory today would make it a 6-4 10-game road trip. Awfully good as we begin to wind down here in the month of September. Glad to have you with us. The final game of the series coming up. Will the Tigers break out the brooms? Find out next. It's the final game of the series. Tigers and Royals coming up from Kauffman Stadium. Back here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, we got you ready for baseball this afternoon. Tigers and the Royals in the final game in this three-game set here in KC. Beautiful day for baseball here as they file in. And by the way, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, make sure you bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow. Get a free small order of curly fries. Here's the starting lineup for the Tigers, brought to you by Big Boy today. Austin Jackson leads it off in center field, followed by Will Rhymes and Johnny Damon. Miguel Cabrera will clean up. Johnny Peralta is at short. Brennan Bosch in right field. And your bottom three, well, there is a change. Casper Wells is playing left field, not Rayburn. And then there's Inge and Alex Avila. That is your bottom three today for the Tigers. We are ready for baseball as we check out the scouting report on Kyle Davies. Brought to you by the Bernstein Advantage. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you. Here's the first pitch of the ball game, and it's a strike called on Jackson.
Well, one of the things that Kyle Davies needs to do is he needs to find some deception, which he really hasn't been able to do this year for the Kansas City Royals. And he also pitches in the stretch quite often. 234 base runners this year for Davies and only 149 innings pitched. And he has also walked 65. So base runners galore have been out there when Davies has been on the mound.
Looks like he's going to get Jackson, though, as Aviles, the second baseman, goes back to the grass, and that's how we start this one today.
Kyle's got good stuff. He's got a good fastball. He's got a cutter. He's got a slider. He's got a changeup, but just way too many pitches around the strike zone that have been way too hittable for American League hitters since he's come to the major leagues.
Gorgeous afternoon here today. 81 degrees our game time temperature as we wind up this series. Will Rhymes has had himself quite a road trip in this series, 3 out of 9 with a couple of RBIs, a couple of big RBIs 2 nights ago. First pitch in there for a strike, 0-1. And Rhymes now enjoying a 12-game hitting streak. Trying to get something started here in the very first inning off Kyle Davies. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fouled straight back, no balls, 2 strikes.
Kyle Davies is coming off arguably one of his best starts in his career. He pitched 8 1/3 innings his last time out against the Texas Rangers, who have an outstanding baseball team, but he got no run support whatsoever. He lost that ball game 3-0, and he admitted himself that not only was he throwing good strikes, but he was throwing quality strikes. He was at the bottom of the strike zone with everything that he threw that day.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Rhymes. Davies, a native of Decatur, Georgia, 26 years old. Here's the 1-2 offering. Rhymes takes it away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tigers a winner in the first 2 games in the series. In the ball game last night, they picked up a couple of runs in the 8th inning, breaking a tie and going on to win that one. Here's the 2-2. 3-2 on Will.
And Max St. Pierre, who made his major league debut last night, led that assault with a leadoff single in that inning. Eventually, Brennan Bosch came on to pinch run for him, but that was the start of something big for the Tigers, which led for them to win that ball game last night.
Fouled straight back.
And what a night it was for Max St. Pierre.
Well, lost in that whole thing of him getting his first hit and the fact that he had been in the minor leagues for 14 years was the fact that it did start that winning rally. 3-2 on Will Rhymes. And there's ball 4. That's a pretty good at bat there by Will.
Let's take a look at Kansas City defensively in this ball game tonight. It's a different defensive alignment. You've got Meyer in center. He's been in right the last couple of days. You've got Miller, who's in right. Benavides is over at third base. Josh Fields with the day off, at least at the start. Navila is also making his first appearance as a position player in this series. And there is Ned Yost, their first-year manager here in Kansas City.
Johnny Damon cuts and misses. He is batting in the 3 spot today, the DH. Johnny 2 out of 8 in the series. On the road trip, he has a total of 7 hits. Here's Davies 0-1, and it's waved and missed by Damon. 96 on the gun there. 0-2 on Johnny.
The last couple of weeks have been pretty good for their offense. They got it going at Comerica Park before starting on this lengthy road trip, which will end today. So the offense for Lloyd McClendon has really perked up.
Here's the 0-2. Lifted in the air towards center field. On the run is Meyer. He'll get there with a sliding play. Nicely done. Mitch Meyer playing center field in place of Gregor Blanco today, and he is tested quickly.
He is their best player, and he's shading Johnny Damon over in right center field. And we've told you the last couple of days here that the wind blows out toward left field. So when you add the slice off the bat of Damon's bat, the left-hander, and the fact that the wind's blowing to left field, that is a really nice play by Meyer.
So Davies gets some help from his center fielder. That'll bring up Miguel Cabrera now with 2 outs. Cabrera batting .338. Returned to the lineup last night and did so with a 2-run hit in the very first inning of that ball game, giving the Tigers the lead.
There's those flags that always seem to be playing right to left here at Kauffman Stadium with the renovations they've made here the last couple of years.
2-0.
Rhymes on first, has the ability to steal a base, but I doubt he'll go with Cabrera standing in the batter's box because that will open up first base, and It's very easy these days for opposing managers to walk Cabrera. But Davies is a guy that does not hold runners all that well.
Rolled foul. 2-1 on Miguel, who is back in the lineup today. There was some question as to whether or not he'd be able to go. He did play last night.
He's still sore. So I'm talking to Jim Leland today, and you can see the amount of time that he is now taking to get back in that batter's box. That biceps tendonitis in his left arm is still bothering him, but he wanted to play today. He plays every day, really. As a matter of fact, Jim tried to talk him out of playing today.
Now the 2-1. On the outside corner, 2-2 on Cabrera. 110 RBIs, leads the American League, leads all of baseball, as a matter of fact. A couple of hits in the series, and for Cabrera on the road trip now, 9 hits. He thought about going after that one, but it missed high. And it's 3-2. Joey Votto now leads the National League in RBIs with 98. Cabrera leads the American League.
Votto's had a real nice year in Cincinnati for Dusty Baker's first place Reds.
3-2. And the runner is on the move, and it's swung on and missed. Cabrera is out. He is saying that he foul tipped the ball, but home plate umpire Jerry Meals not buying it. Tigers are done in the first. Second base, followed by Billy Butler. He's at first base. Kila Kaihue is the DH, followed by Wilson Benameet. And then you've got Alex Gordon, Pena, Miller, and Betancourt on your bottom three today for KC. There's the scouting report on Armando Galarraga, presented by Scott's Lawn Pro.
And Galarraga appears to be very, very comfortable out on the mound these days, and one of the reasons he has been is the fact that his location has been tremendous with just about everything that he features, the fastball, the slider, and the changeup. Something else that he needed to do to improve as a major league pitcher was start to contain left-handed batters, which he has done. Their numbers are lower than righties these days, and he is nearly impossible to run on when he's really paying attention to the running game.
So Mitch Meyer will lead it off against Armando Galarraga. It'll be Meyer, Aviles, and Billy Butler. Galarraga trying to win his 5th game of the year. His ERA at 3.98. And Meyer, the center fielder, takes ball 1 up high.
And Galarraga should have a couple of wins on this road trip, but he does not. There's a couple of leads that have been blown after he has left the game, but he has pitched well on this current road trip.
There's a high strike called on Meyer.
But you can really say that about the entire Tigers starting staff. They have all stepped up.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's kind of funny. This has been the longest remaining road trip of the season for Detroit. It's that time of the year where you think you might be getting to run down a little bit and getting tired. And Tigers are playing some of their better baseball here.
Well, he's the reason. He won't let them quit. He will not let them quit.
Here's the 2-1 pitch to Mitch Meyer. And that misses outside. 3-1. Meyer hitting .259. He is 1 for 7 in the series. He's already walked twice in this series. And he takes a strike. 3-2. They had Blanco leading off the last couple of days, but Meyer will move up in the lineup. Armando ready with the 3-2 pitch. That's in the air toward left center. Wells and Jackson converge on it, and Casper Wells makes the catch. One gone to the Royals' first inning.
Well, you know, Wells is out in the outfield, and let's take a look at the remainder of the Tigers defensively. It's always presented by Beaumont Hospitals. You got the stud in center. That would be Jackson. Brennan Bosch is in right. Third to first reads Inge, Peralta, Rhymes, and Cabrera. Alex Avila is behind the dish after Max St. Pierre made his major league debut last night. And Gerald Laird's still a little crispy as far as that lower back is concerned. It's still a little sore.
Here is Mike Aviles, the second baseman. He's getting a start here today, batting .293, his first start in this series. That's rolled to the shortstop. Routine play there for Peralta. And just about everything to Peralta since joining the Tigers has been pretty routine. He makes it look that way at least.
He does not have the range of some of the shortstops that are in this league. And Betancourt would come to mind. He played shortstop for the Kansas City Royals, but he is awfully steady. He catches everything that's hit to him, and that's really all you can ask for if you're Jim Leland and Rafael Belliard, who handles the infielders for the Tigers.
Here is Billy Butler now with 2 outs. Do you think going into next year, if indeed Peralta is the shortstop, he could play that position all year?
I do. I do believe so. He's got the kind of physical body. He's a strong kid. And as long as he hits, he'll be fine. Jim has said for a long, long time he likes guys that can drive runs in from first base. And Peralta would fit into that category. He's a run producer.
2 balls, no strikes. Make it 2-1 now on Butler, who in the series has done it again against Tigers pitching. He's 5 for 9. In fact, Billy's on a pretty good stretch right now. 10 hits in his last 24 at bats.
He's a run producer too.
On the outer edge for strike 2. Butler with a bit of a silent protest on that last call by Jerry Meals. Stays alive. Galarraga had one of his better performances in his rookie year a couple of years ago when he won 13 games for the Tigers. It was here in Kansas City that he took a perfect game into the 7th inning against the Royals. David DeJesus broke it up with a base hit to lead off the 7th. And that's hit into left field for the base hit. He pulled it right by Brandon Inge, and it's a 2-out single for Butler.
He is no joke. Every pitch to him was away from him, and then Galarraga tries to come in with a 2-seam fastball. It's located in a really nice area, but Billy Butler able to pull those hands in close to the body, which gets that barrel over the heart of the plate. And when he does that, he does lots of damage.
He is 6 for 10 in the series now.
Tiger killer.
Here is Kai Hue. Kilo batting .198. And he's had 3 RBIs, including a home run.
That home run he hit in last night's game really impressed their manager, Ned Yost, because it's something they've been trying to get Kila to do for quite some time, and that's to start to hit the ball the other way. He has been a dead pull hitter. That's why the batting average is under 200. But if he starts to go the opposite way, his playing time will increase with his Kansas City Royals team. He just has not mastered it yet, but Kevin Seitzer, their hitting coach, has worked long and hard on that part of his game.
He has had a lot of minor league experience, 8 years of minor league baseball with the Royals, and in fact in that stretch has hit 154 home runs. So there's no questioning his power. He has Butler at first now with 2 away. And Galarraga now falls behind 3-0. He has fallen behind a few of the hitters here in this first inning.
Not uncommon for guys that come from places like Hawaii to spend a long time in the minor leagues. The baseball they play over there as youth is not really all that competitive. It's not like the baseball in the States. So most of those guys do spend lots of time in the minor leagues honing their skills.
There's a strike call. Three and one the count. And he lost in ball 4, so Galarraga, after 2 are retired, gives up a single and now a walk.
I don't know for sure, but it looked like Galarraga wanted no part of Keela in that situation, and Jim Leland apparently is going to come out and have one of his conversations with Galarraga. We have not seen Jim do this in a long time. And he also told Alex Avila just to stay behind the plate. I would imagine he doesn't want Peralta there either, unless he needs an interpreter, which he does not need.
No. And again, it's one of those one-sided conversations.
Well, you can understand a little bit. All the damage that was done in yesterday's game, it was by Butler and Keela. So Galarraga probably in this situation did not want to give Keela too much to hit, and he simply walked him. But what he did was present a problem for himself, because Wilson Betemit, who is now coming to the plate, is one of their better RBI guys. As a matter of fact, he's hitting .356 with runners in scoring position. That's the best on their team.
Well, Leland is taking quite a while, and he's finally chased out of there now by Jerry Meals.
Tigers also got somebody up in the bullpen, too.
That's Brad Thomas. He has been throwing since the start of this inning.
So there may be something else going on with Galarraga as well.
Well, here is Wilson Betemit with 2 on and 2 out. Bottom of the first inning in a scoreless game. Betemit batting .311. First pitch in there for a strike.
And Betemit's done nice work this year for Kansas City. His batting average is very good. I told you about his numbers as far as runners in scoring position. But now, with Josh Fields coming off the disabled list, Josh Fields is going to get the bulk of that time in September, because they want to see what they have in Josh Fields. They traded for him from the Chicago White Sox. They gave up Mark Tien.
Betemit trying to snap an 0 for 10. Here's the 0-1. Betemit this year has hit really well at home, .340 in their home ballpark. Again, they've got Mike Moustakas, who is their big prospect down at AAA. He is a third baseman, just finished up a terrific AAA season. So he is lurking on the horizon. And the 1-1 pitch. High fly ball right field. Bosch going back, still going back to the warning track. Leaps, can't get it. It bounces over the wall. And Betemit will be held at second base with a ground rule double. Bosch seemed to be battling that one all the way.
I don't know if Brendan did not see that ball or not, but it's a play where you simply have to get back and then make the necessary adjustments. But he was running on his heels and backing up at the same time, and finally leaps, and which should have gotten Galarraga out of the inning. And now he is pitching with runners on second and third and only 2 outs.
Well, the Tigers do catch a bit of a break in that it didn't bounce against the wall, but it bounced over the wall, and that sends Kai Hue back to third base. Otherwise, he would have scored. So bad break there for Galarraga. It's 1-0 KC, and here is Alex Gordon. He fouls it back out of play, 0-1. A single, a walk, and a double that Bosch had trouble with in right field. Betemit gets his 30th RBI. Gordon hitting just .224 is 1 for 7 in the series. His only hit is a home run. That's fouled off. 0-2 the count. Kai Hue is at third base. Betemit is at second. And Galarraga now, after getting the first 2 batters in the inning, is about to throw his 25th pitch. Swing and a miss, and he gets Gordon to retire the side. His first strikeout of the game. Royals strand a pair, but they get a run. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Strength and stability since 1849. And by Comcast. Call 1-800-COMCAST for TV, phone, and internet. Back here in Kansas City, it's the final game in this series. The Royals get a double, an RBI double from Wilson Betemit. And they have taken a 1-0 lead. And the Tigers in the second inning will have Johnny Peralta leading it off. It'll be Peralta, Bosch, and Casper Wells facing Kyle Davies on a gorgeous day here in KC. 81 degrees our game time temp. There's a high drive off the bat of Peralta deep into center field. Mitch Meyer, though, has room. One gone. Tigers got a walk in the first from Will Rhymes, but could not advance him. Here comes Bosch. Davies walked a man in the first inning, and he will walk a few. We told you about that in the pitching report before the game. He averages almost 4 walks per 9 innings, which is among the highest totals in the American League. In fact, it's the 5th highest ratio in the league.
And when you add up all the hits that he gives up to go along with all those base on balls, he's pitching out of the stretch quite often.
Bosch skies one. Shallow center field. Meyer coming on again. And there are 2 outs. Well, so far he hasn't given up any hits. And he will face Casper Wells. Wells was a late addition to the starting lineup today for the Tigers. Ryan Rayburn was going to play in left field. And they say he was sick before the game. So Wells filling in.
Second time in this series that Wells has been pressed into duty. A couple of days ago, Gerald Laird could not go, which put Johnny Damon back to the designated hitter spot and Wells in the outfield.
Well, Casper's been a good option, that's for sure. He has 10 hits on this road trip. And a .308 big league batting average this year. Wave and a miss, 1-1.
been a nice opportunity for a lot of these kids in September. Wells and Rhymes. Kelly's gotten some reps.
Well, last night, St. Pierre became the 8th Tiger position player to make his debut here in 2010. That's a lot of young guys coming up. There's Max. He gets the day off today. In fact, it's the most in a single season since 1930, Hank Greenberg's first year. Missing low, 3-1.
You kind of wonder why Davies gets hit around as much as he has gotten hit around. And he's made quite a few starts in the big leagues. He's got 96, 97 with his fastball. He's got a little cutter. He's got a curveball. He's got a changeup. But hitters get really good swings against him. He needs to find, as I said in his pitching report, some kind of deception. When you've got this kind of stuff, you should not have 234 base runners and 149 innings pitched coming into this game. It's a lot of base runners.
Another foul back out of play. And when you talk about finding some deception, you mean maybe an alteration in his delivery?
He can drop down on a couple of right-handers, or he needs to locate that fastball down and away a little bit better. It could be being more efficient with your first pitch strikes. It could be throwing breaking balls in fastball counts. There's something that he needs to change because the stuff is there.
3-2 pitch. Driven to right field. That's a base hit. Casper Wells continues to swing it. 2-out single.
As a matter of fact, this pitch right here by Davies is not a bad pitch at all, but it's really good hitting by Casper Wells. It's 2 strikes. That ball's 95. It's on the black. It's outside, but Wells is looking away from him because of the non-deception. There's no pitches that Davies has thrown inside. So as a right-handed hitter, all you have to do is look away in that situation.
That'll bring up Brandon Inge. Ball 1 high to Brandon. Inge is sitting on 199 doubles right now. His next will be his 200th. He has crossed the 1,000 hit plateau this year. That's fouled back out of play.
Do not know what the Tigers are thinking in 2011 as far as Brandon Inge is concerned. That's their decision to make. But boy, you have to look past his .253 batting average and his other intangibles, which make him a very valuable member of this team, and he has been that.
Runner goes, and it's swung on, hit high in the air to left. Battling the sun, Gordon. He's under it to make the catch. So the Tigers are done here in the second. No runs, a hit, 1 left. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Here this afternoon, 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning here today. By the way, you can vote for your Tigers McDonald's player of the game using your cell phone. Text Tigers followed by a space and then the player's uniform number to 37338. See the final results at the end of this one here today. The Tigers and the Royals in the final game of the series. Vote for your Tigers McDonald's player of the game. Here is Galarraga back to work now. Brian Pena will lead things off, and the first one is in there for a strike. Pena, then Miller, and then Betancourt, the bottom three for KC. Jason Kendall's on the shelf for the rest of the year, so Pena will see some extended playing time. In fact, they are saying for Kendall, who had a rotator cuff surgery a couple of days ago, that he'll be out 8 to 10 months, which will put him into next season. The 1-1 lifted toward left field. Jackson coming over, but Wells is there. Oh, and he dropped it into the sun. Wells just flat out lost it. The throw to second is tardy, and Pena takes second base.
Casper stayed with it about as long as you could stay with one, and apparently when it got in the sun at the last moment, he just could not make the play. You can see him battling it right now. He stays there, and he never really saw it, but he stayed there as long as he could. But what you have to do on that particular play is you have to turn your body sideways. You have to turn to the left or to the right, and it gives you a better look at it, and the ball does come out of the sun for you if you don't panic.
That is ruled a double the second time now. Galarraga in this game has given up a two-base hit on a ball that probably should have been caught, but easier said than done when you're not sitting in that, staring into that sunlight. One by Bosch and now one by Wells. Jay Miller, the batter, hitting .211. That's the third hit of the game now for KC. Miller, the right fielder today, former Florida Marlin, played briefly in the big leagues with the Marlins. In fact, only one big league at bat.
Just one more look at this play in left field by Wells. You can see he's just continues to look into the sun here. But what you have to do is turn your body to the side, and then it makes it a little bit easier play for you. I don't know if you'll catch it or not, but if you continue to look straight up in the sun and you have not seen it, you have to do something which might aid you in making that play.
Big swing by Miller. I'm sure you lost some balls in the sun when you played. Is there a more scary feeling when you can't find that thing?
Nope, because you don't know if it's going to hit you right in the coconut.
Fortunately, that one I think clipped him in the leg. That was it.
You got to give him credit. He stayed there as long as he could, but as I said, in the future, just simply turn your body. It'll make it a little easier. And also Jackson, I'm sure, will start to make some of those plays, because Jackson could have made that play.
And the 2-1. 2-2 on Jay Miller. Miller was claimed off the waiver wire in April and had a good year down in AAA. 18 home runs, knocked in 56. So Galarraga trying to pitch out of some trouble here in the second. Leadoff double. Foul away again. 2-2. The count stays on Miller.
Did you say last week at Comerica Park this guy was an outstanding football player?
And basketball. But yeah, he was a top 50 wide receiver coming out of high school.
Got that long, wiry, wide receiver body. Football season is upon us, too. It's here.
He went to Selma High School in Selma, Alabama. Here's the 2-2. In fact, he was going to go to Stanford, and Mike Montgomery, their basketball coach, wanted him as a point guard, and the football team wanted him as a wide receiver.
He's smart then. You don't go to Stanford unless you've got some smarts.
Yeah, you got to be able to get in, that's for sure.
SAT scores have to be high.
I wouldn't know.
You know.
I never applied to Stanford. Nor ever thought about it. 3-2 on Jay Miller. And he missed inside. Ball 4. That's going to put the first two aboard here in the second. Galarraga has given up his second walk. That'll bring up Betancourt.
The way this series has been going for the Kansas City Royals, they have dropped the first 2 games of this series. Would not be shocked to see Betancourt up there in a bunting situation. He has 4 sack bunts this year. Tigers aren't buying it, though. They're not playing like they're looking for a bunt here.
No sign of it, and strike 1 from Galarraga. 67 RBIs out of that 9 slot. Betancourt having quite a year offensively. He's also hit 15 home runs.
That could be the main reason why the Tigers aren't playing for the bunt here.
Betancourt this season has also hit 3 grand slams this year.
Well, he grounded into a double play to end the ball game yesterday. He may as well go ahead and ground into one here.
He's behind the count now, 0-2.
If you weren't with us in last night's ball game, I asked Ned Yost, their manager, the biggest difference in Betancourt this year versus previous years in Seattle and his first year in Kansas City. And he simply gave all the credit to the third base coach, Eddie Rodriguez. Now, they both hail from Cuba. And he said Eddie Rodriguez has been a tremendous influence on Yuniesky Betancourt.
Here's the 0-2 inside.
Something else with young players that come from Cuba where everything is regimented. They tell you what time to eat, where to go, where to be, how to practice. When you come stateside, they don't do that for you. You're pretty much on your own, and it took Betancourt quite a while to really understand what he needed to do to be successful as a professional player in the United States after coming from a place where they pretty much tell you what to do all the time.
And Galarraga just missed 2-2. Well, this is the year that he has finally put it all together.
Japanese players are the same way. I played over there for 3 years, and they told them what time to get up, where to eat, when to go to bed, where to go. That's just how they do it over there in some of those places.
2-2 on Betancourt, who does not walk a whole lot. In fact, he has only 14 walks this year and about 458 at bats. Popped up. Let's see if there's a play for Avila coming back, but it's going to get back into the seats about 2 rows deep. And Betancourt is still alive. Yuniesky in the series 1 for 9. He has a couple of RBIs. Well, when Betancourt first came up with Seattle and talking to some of their people, they were just raving about this kid, about how he had power, he had great range at short, a terrific throwing arm.
He still has all that.
Yeah, he displayed all that too in Seattle, but now it's just at a different level here. And another foul back out of play. Galarraga trying to pitch through some trouble here in the second. A routine fly ball by Pena was lost in the sun by Casper Wells, and it went as a leadoff double. Royals got a run on the first on the RBI 2-base hit by Betamit. And they're trying to add here in the second. Tigers trying to sweep this series and head back home, having won 6 of 10 on this road trip, and that would be an outstanding trip. Way outside, good pick up there by Avila. He went down to the backhand to get that one.
That really is a big play because it still keeps the double play in order. And if Galarraga can make that pitch, Betancourt will hit into the double play. I mean, that is kind of a do or die kind of pick for a catcher. You really don't have time to shift your body to get over in front of it, so you just kind of throw your glove out there and you hope it goes in it.
So it's 3-2. Runners bluff, and that's drilled in the air toward left center. Jackson coming over. He's under it. And the runners will hold, and Betancourt, after a battle, is retired. One gone.
Well, Ned Yost knows his club a whole lot better than we know his club, but I'm still kind of surprised there was no bunting.
Well, we'll see what Meyer can do now. He's the leadoff man.
There's Eddie Rodriguez, their third base coach, going through some signs for Meyer and the bench runners, the base runners, I should say. Erod, good baseball man. Lots of different organizations, lots of different teams.
Meyer flied to left his first time up. And now for Galarraga, you get the ground ball here, you can go sit down. Meyer has knocked into just 2 double plays this year. Bouncing ball, second base. This could be number 3. And it is a 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. Galarraga does a nice job of pitching out of that frame. Detroit is brought to you by the Ramani Eye Institute, the most trusted name in eye care. And by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T, rethink possible.
Hey fans, you may as well spend tomorrow with the Tigers. It's Labor Day. They take on the Chicago White Sox. The time is 1:05. You can enjoy the weekday value pack for only $55. That includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 soft drinks, and 4 bags of chips. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. You can let the Tigers do your barbecuing for you tomorrow, and you can watch some baseball as well.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, the Tigers down by a run as we go to the top of the 3rd here in Kansas City. And it'll be Alex Avila leading it off against Kyle Davies. Avila and then Jackson and then Rhymes. Alex, 2 out of 5 in the series. Had a pretty good road trip. In fact, he's had 7 hits. And with the bad back of Gerald Laird, Alex has been catching a little bit more on this road trip. He has also scored twice in this series. Fouled back out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Davies working quickly, the 1-1. Make it 1-2 now on Avila. Kyle Davies kind of had an up and down year last year, but the one thing that he has shown the past 2 seasons is finishing strong, and here we are in the month of September. They're expecting or hoping for the same, but in his last 2 Septembers, Davies 7-1 with a really good ERA. 1.85 as a matter of fact. So September, for whatever reason, has been his month. Here's the 1-2. Just missed the outside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Avila.
Yeah, his last start, one of his best of his career. And that was 8 in the 3rd innings that he lost against the Texas Rangers. Texas, and they've got an outstanding hitting team.
And he got him. Strike 3. Avila caught looking. That'll be the 2nd strikeout for Davies. 1 out here in the 3rd. Want to remind you that today's game is available in crystal clear, stunning high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. The last time the Tigers saw Davies, back on the 24th of August, they scored 7 against him. Strike 1 on Jackson, who is 0 for 1. A 13-hit road trip for Austin. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 7 runs the Tigers got against Davies came in 4 2/3 innings. And talk about all the hits he's given up this year. 12 hits in that game. 1-2. Coming into this game today, Austin Jackson had 159 hits. And we often talk about how his numbers rank against rookies. How about the rest of the league? He actually has 4 more hits than Billy Butler. Jackson was 6th in the AL coming in the hit column. Did he go? Nope. He held up, said Todd Titchener down at first base.
And Jackson simply is one of the most exciting young players in the game of baseball today. And this is about as far as you can go before you get strike 3 called on you. And there are actually some umpires that would have called Jackson out on that check swing.
That's down the right field line, slicing, foul.
But it's been a long time since I've seen a rookie come into the major leagues that has the kind of skill set that Jackson has. His ability to hit the baseball all over the ballpark. He steals bases. Stellar defensively. Tremendous aptitude, and just a wonderful young man.
Well, you know he's doing well when you stop comparing his numbers offensively to the other rookies, but instead you just start comparing him to everybody in the league. And he's been in the top 10 in several categories. Again, the 2-2. Got him. Strike 3. Inside corner, Jackson is retired. 3rd strikeout.
Davies has brought his A game here this afternoon against the Tigers, trying to prevent their team from being swept. But the Tigers went up against a real good pitcher a couple of days ago and looked like they were going to get beat. That was Zach Greinke. They held on. They finally took the lead in that game. They just simply have to continue to grind out some at-bats here and see if they could break Davies. He'll make some mistakes before it's over.
Will Rhymes had a double in the 1st.
His numbers validate that.
Take it back, a walk in the 1st. Tigers' only hit was the single by Wells in the 2nd inning. And they've had just a couple of base runners against Davies, who has pretty much been in command early on here. Rhymes, another one of those guys that is starting to open up some eyes, not only for this year, but maybe into next year. And certainly his performance down the stretch here will factor into what the Tigers want to do for second base next year. Of course, they'll have Carlos Guillen coming back. That one missed. 2-1. Guillen still on the disabled list after taking that shot on a double play in the knee. It caused a severe bruise, putting him back on the DL. That was in New York against the Yankees. 2-2 on Will Rhymes. Jim Leland has seen a whole lot of debuts this year, a ton of them for the Tigers. 2-2 pitch. It's rolled on the ground to the right side. And a routine play for Mike Aviles. Kyle Davies has himself a 1-2-3 third. We head to the bottom half. Still 1-0 Royals. Well, the Royals lead this one here today 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the third inning. And a reminder to get the latest info and analysis on the local football scene at FoxSportsDetroit.com. Mike O'Hara quarterbacks our Lions coverage. Dave Dye goes the distance with all the news on the Spartans and Wolverines and the entire Big Ten. Get your football fix now at FoxSportsDetroit.com. Here come the Royals. We go to the bottom of the third. 2, 3, and 4 in their lineup. Aviles leads it off against Armando Galarraga, who did a nice job out of pitching around some trouble back in the second. Armando has thrown 45 pitches through 2 innings. Aviles is 0 for 1. That's lifted in the air. Left center field. Jackson cruising over.
Yeah, Casper's like, you take it.
Everything from now on, you take it. Time to go back to the studio. And here's a game break with Trevor Thompson. All right, Trev, thank you. As you check out the standings in the American League East, that is going to be quite a race down the stretch. The Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays separated right now by 2.5.
Well, both those teams are going to get in, though. One will simply be the wild card.
That's hammered to center field and hit well. Jackson is on the move to the track, to the wall, and that's off the top of the wall. On his way to second base, here's the throw, and he is safe. Butler has a double off the center field wall.
We talked about Butler at the top of the show, and we also talked about our very own Miguel Cabrera, 2 outstanding right-handed first basemen in the American League, and they're trying to pitch him inside. But that time, he really clears his hips out of the way because he knew where Galarraga was trying to get that two-seam fastball, and he nearly hit it out of here. It's amazing how much he gets the barrel on the bat, the barrel on the ball, consistently.
Kaihue will stand in now with a chance to drive in a run. Keela walked in the first inning. 4 hits for Kansas City with that double by Butler. He's 2 for 2.
Does not look like Butler's going to get to 50 doubles this year, nor hit 20 home runs, which he did last year, which put him in very, very special class. Only 4 other players have been able to do that. Miguel Cabrera is one, Hank Greenberg the other, Albert Pujols and A-Rod before their 24th birthday. Only 5 in the history of the game have done that. That is special company indeed. Hank Greenberg was unbelievable when you start to look at all the numbers that he put up when he was playing baseball. What a player he was.
The 1-1 pitch is low. 2 balls and 1 strike. That's why his name is out on the wall at Comerica Park.
Hall of Fame. I used to watch he and Walter Matthau play tennis when I was just a young minor league player, age 17. Steve Greenberg was my agent. He's the son of Hank, and he used to take me to the Beverly Hills Country Club to have lunch every now and then, and those two would be playing tennis together. Actually had a chance to have lunch with both of them. Didn't know what I was doing at age 17, but now I realize how special that was.
2-2 on Kaihue. Armando had to pitch around a leadoff double, lost in the sun back in the second, and now a 1-out double here in the third. In fact, that's the 3rd double of the game for Kansas City. Swing and a miss. There's the 2nd out of the inning, and for Galarraga, his 2nd strikeout of the game.
It's a well-located breaking ball at the bottom of the strike zone, and this is pretty much where Galarraga has lived lately. It's one of the reasons why he has been successful. Just about everything south of the knees with some pretty good movement. Not overthrowing the baseball these days.
Wilson Betemit with 2 outs. RBI doubled in the 1st inning, providing the game's only run so far, at least. A double by Betemit snapped an 0 for 10 stretch that he was in. Trying to pick up Butler, who has led things, or actually had a 1-out double here in the 3rd. Standing there now with 2 outs. Here's the 1-0. Good pick up there, or block by Avila. 2 balls, no strikes on Betemit.
And you want to be careful here with Betemit. He has been one of their better hitters this year with runners in scoring position. You've got the base open. You've got 2 outs. And you've got Alex Gordon in the on-deck circle, who's hitting below 230. So proceed with caution here if you're Armando. And it looks like that's exactly what they're doing.
Tigers since 06 have come into Kauffman Stadium and done some really good work. They are 29-15 since the start of the 06 season, when the Tigers went to the World Series. They have a chance to sweep here today. And Betemit does get the walk, so that'll put 2 men on, and it'll bring up Alex Gordon.
Tigers should dominate this team. Payroll is a lot higher. They've got better players. And there's no reason why this Kansas City Royals should beat this Tigers team on a consistent basis. Tigers have star players, all stars.
And they have hit in that stretch nearly 300 in this ballpark since 06.
And Kansas City pretty much has been in a rebuilding mode ever since then. And the Tigers have won since then.
Two on and 2 out. Ned Yost trying to lead a resurgence of the Royals in his first year skippering Kansas City. Ball 1 to Gordon. Alex struck out back in the 1st inning. Butler, the runner at second base. Betemit is at first. 1-1. Gordon is a product of the draft a couple of years ago in 05, and he was the number 2 pick overall that year by the Royals. Justin Upton was selected number 1 overall by the Arizona Diamondbacks, but it was a draft that was really loaded with a lot of talent that got to the big leagues quite quickly. And Gordon was one of those guys. Also in that draft was Tulowitzki, Brian Braun, Jay Bruce, Jacoby Ellsbury, a lot of names that have gotten to the big leagues. Ryan Zimmerman.
Out of all those guys you just mentioned, it appears that Gordon has been the one that has not lived up to the lofty expectations. Not yet. All the other guys have done marvelous work, made all-star teams in the major leagues.
Yeah, Ricky Romero's in that bunch as well. We just saw him in Toronto. Here's the 2-1. Way outside. Avila is able to slow it down enough to hold the runners. 3-1 now on Alex Gordon. Tigers today have been out hit 4-1 and outscored 1-0. Back out of play. 3-2. Runners will be on the move here. And there they go on 3-2. It's ball 4. Galarraga walks Gordon. And now the bases are loaded. And that's 4 walks in the first 3 innings for Armando. It's going to bring a visit now from the pitching coach, Rick Knapp. Brian Pena will be batting here with the bases full as the Royals try and build on their 1-0 lead. Galarraga had been pitching so well coming into this start. In fact, Armando had given up 3 or fewer runs in 4 straight starts.
And he really has not been walking people. Walks have not been an issue for Galarraga.
Brad Thomas was throwing earlier in this game, and he'll start to throw again in the bullpen. Pena had a double to lead off the second, but did not score. And he takes strike 1.
That might be the best pitch that Pena gets in this at bat. First pitch fastball right down the middle with the bases juice. I don't know what he was looking for. Galarraga has to make a pitch, though.
Now it's quickly 0-2.
So many times after a pitcher has walked a couple of batters consecutively, you as that hitter that's now standing in the batter's box, you take that first pitch, which is right down the middle, and you find yourself in a hole when really sometimes that's when you should be aggressive.
And he stays alive by fouling that one off. He is from Cuba originally. In fact, he was a childhood friend of Yunel Escobar. They grew up playing together. Brian born in Havana, Cuba. And Galarraga 1 pitch away again from stranding some runners. And he missed outside 1-2. 1 out double by Butler. A walk to Betemit, a walk to Gordon. And they are loaded up for Pena. Missed again outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. a sudden it's 3-2. He's gone from 0-2 to 3-2 with the bases loaded. And the Royals have the benefit of starting the runners here. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Driven in the air to right field. Bosch is coming in. And that is that. So they will leave him loaded. Galarraga again pitching out of a jam. 3 in the books here in KC. Trivia question this afternoon. Let's see. Which American League team won the most playoff games in the 1980s? Which AL team? The George Brett-led Kansas City Royals certainly have to be considered. It's a good question today. There's Mr. Brett and his statue. The all-time great third baseman in the history of the game in the Hall of Fame, George Brett. Well, here come the Tigers now. They're down by a run. Galarraga, by the way, has thrown 71 pitches to get through 3 innings. Davies has thrown only 49, and he starts things off here in the 4th facing Johnny Damon. Damon, Cabrera, Peralta, and the Tigers' 4th. Lifted back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tigers heading home tomorrow. They've got a day game tomorrow on Labor Day with Chicago coming in. That'll be a 4-game series against the White Sox with Scherzer and Verlander in games 1 and 2.
Tigers have not been able to make up much ground in the Central. It seems like every time they win, Minnesota wins or the White Sox win. The White Sox have won 5 straight. Minnesota's won a couple of straight. When Detroit has played its best baseball trying to get back into the division, they simply have not been able to do so.
Well, the Tigers did get back up to the 500 mark at 68 and 68 with their win last night.
And they are 1 game under 500 in the Central as we speak, which is also pretty good because that's an area where they needed to upgrade. They needed to play better within their division.
Roll to the shortstop. Betancourt has it. Damon is out. 0 for 2 for Johnny today. 1 gone in the 4th inning.
As a matter of fact, the Minnesota Twins are the only team in the American League Central playing better than 500 baseball within the division, and that's one of the main reasons why they sit in first place.
Well, they won again last night. Jim Thome hit a pair of home runs. They beat Texas.
White Sox swept a doubleheader in Boston.
Cabrera tried to hold up, but he went. Cabrera's asking for an appeal, but Jerry Meals said, I don't need one. He went around. The Rangers lead the West, but if you stuck them in the American League East, they would be in 4th place. Behind New York, Tampa Bay, and Boston. Ooh, sawed him off right back to the mound, and Cabrera is out.
That does not happen very often.
2 gone. He's going to bring up Johnny Peralta. He flied to deep center back in the second. Oh, and 1. One ball, 1 strike on Peralta. Kyle Davies, born in Decatur, Georgia, was drafted by his hometown team, the Atlanta Braves, and spent a few years with them. The 1-1 pitch. Getting back to what you were talking about the other night. It's not too often where kids that go on to play professional baseball get by the Atlanta Braves.
They do not. They really stay within that community. They play a nice brand of baseball in Georgia. Amateur baseball.
Look out. Now, everybody talks about Texas and Florida and California, but Georgia, I mean, when you start to look at the numbers, and especially when you look at Georgia Tech and all the great pros that they've produced, there's a lot of talent coming out of Georgia.
No question about that. Jason Hayward, stud rookie right now in Atlanta. Wasn't born in Georgia, but he grew up in Georgia, and we all know the kind of player he has turned out to be.
That's into right center field, and Meyer calls off his right fielder Miller. 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Davies on our way to the bottom of the 4th. Here's a trivia question again, courtesy of AT&T. Which American League team won the most playoff games in the 1980s? And your answer is the Oakland A's. They had 16 wins. Of course, they won the World Series in '89. And here is the list of playoff victories. KC was second on that list. Tigers were third. Here is Galarraga going back to work. And he delivers a strike to Jay Miller. Miller, then Betancourt, then Meyer. He held up on the pitch away from Galarraga. 1-1 on Miller, who walked, did not score back in the second. Galarraga, 71 pitches through 3 innings, so he needs a tidy 4th. 1-2.
And Tigers infielders have been standing around quite a bit in this game, and a lot of times when you have your infielders standing around as much as they have, miscues are committed, so he most definitely does need to pick up the pace.
Checked it, and he did not go. 2-2. Four walks for Armando in this game. He walked 2 and gave up a double in the third, but they left him loaded. Popped up. See if it stays in play. Looks like it will. Cabrera in foul ground, 1 away.
And Galarraga has touched 95 in this game, and he has gone as low as 75 with his changeup, but just has not thrown that many strikes with all the pitches in between those readings.
Here is Betancourt. Uniesky pops it up. Shallow right field. Rhymes going back. Bosch coming in. 2 gone. So Galarraga is on his way to that quick 4th inning. 1 more out to get. Mitch Meyer will stand in. Armando in his career has really done well in day games. Don't know the reason, but he's 11-4 with a 3.77 ERA in his career in day games. He's given up only 1 run so far in this game. 1 strike on Mitch Meyer, who's 0 for 2. Driven to left field. Casper Wells is there, and that is that. It is a 1-2-3 inning for Galarraga. We go to the 5th in KC. Bosch, Wells, Inge coming up.
This Friday when the Tigers take on the Baltimore Orioles at 7:05, the first 10,000 fans 16 and over receive a Tigers fan-only parking sign. For tickets, 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
Well, it's been a sleepy start for the Tigers here today. They have no runs on 1 hit. Their only hit in this game was a single by Casper Wells in the 2nd. And they trail 1-0. Cabrera knows the camera's on him. Ryan Rayburn doesn't seem to care. Here is Bosch to lead things off here in the 5th inning. Brennan is 0 for 1, fly ball to center field. Davies has been cruising along, 62 pitches through 4 frames. Bosch, Wells, and then Inge. Fouled away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, this is the time of the game where maybe other teams will tend to get to him. Hopefully the Tigers can too. 3:29 the second time through. 2-1. This is the third start of the year for Davies against the Tigers. His first start was way back in April in Detroit. And his last start was in Detroit as well last month. Deep behind the bag, Butler has it, and Bosch is out, one gone. That's 8 straight retired by Davies. And that'll bring up Casper Wells. Base hit the other way for Casper back in the second. The only Tigers hit so far. And he takes strike one.
Take a look at Billy Butler at first base and how far he plays off the line here. I mean, that's a pretty good distance to hit balls down the line, but most right-handers don't hit balls in that direction, even though Wells did his last time up.
That one has a chance to get out, and it does, and Casper Wells pulls it this time into the bullpen in left field, and Wells has his second home run of the year.
Up in that jet stream here that blows out to left field here at Kauffman Stadium, and that's the one thing that Casper Wells can do, and he has done a lot of in the minors. He displays lots of power, and that's really the first mistake as well that Kyle Davies has made in this game. And those numbers, second time through, at least for Wells, are good.
That is only the second hit the Tigers have had in the game, both of them for Wells, and it ties the game at 1-1.
Casper Wells hit his first major league home run. It was a big one. It was in Minnesota. Second leg of this road trip. It tied the ball game up very late in the game and hits his second big league home run here today. He's got a lot of pop in his bat.
Brandon Inge, the batter.
Casper Wells was still trying to get that baseball back. His first home run in Minnesota, I don't know if he got it back or not, but he was trying to get it back.
Here's the 1-1. I thought that ball popped back onto the field. It didn't. That one that was hit to right field, right?
Oh, they must have thrown it back up or something.
Well, it would be nice if he could get it, that's for sure. That last home run went 388 feet. And no problem getting that one. It landed in the bullpen. Inge reaching, pops it up. Avila's the second baseman of the grass, and there are 2 gone. And Brandon is 0 for 2. Here's Alex Avila. Strike one on Alex. So if you're counting up the home run numbers now for Wells, he had 21 in the minor leagues and 2 more here in the big leagues. 23 total home runs this season. Although his batting average at the big league level, at least so far, has been much better. Over 300 with the Tigers. Avila, a strikeout victim, back in the third. 0 for 1. One ball, 2 strikes. Make it 2-2.
Casper Wells was not supposed to start in this game this afternoon. Ryan Rayburn was ill, and he had to be scratched, and Wells pressed into duty. And so many times when you get pressed into duty late, you do something special. Wells probably was not watching the video on Davies before the game started. And why would he? He was not in the starting lineup, and therefore you don't cloud your mind with trying to figure out what that starting pitcher will try to do to you on any given day. You just simply go up there and react.
Avila takes low, run it to 3-2. So the young guys on this road trip just continue to chip in offensively. Rhymes had a big trip. Wells continues to pile up the hits. That is his 11th hit, make it his 12th hit on this road trip. 2 more today. There's a 3-2 pitch. Foul straight back.
It's nice to have young kids. It's nice to have young kids contributing, which they're doing. But if you look at all the teams that are in playoff contention, they're not sprinkled with a lot of babies. They got big-time players, veteran players, good pitchers. That's how you win up here. You can have 1 or 2, but you can't have a team full of them.
There's a walk for Avila. A 2-out base on balls. Second walk for Davies in this game.
The Yankees, Tampa, Texas, Minnesota. They all come to mind. A few kids, but by and large, a veteran-laden team. Tigers had that as well until the injury bug kind of hit them.
Jackson takes high. That certainly changed the whole complexion of the team. Take guys like Guillen out and Ordonez out.
Zumaya.
He's kind of the forgotten guy in terms of the injuries this year.
That's when it started. Talked to a lot of managers and general managers around baseball, and they simply said what we just said, that there's pretty much too much to overcome when you lose those kinds of players out of your everyday lineup. All-star type players. But Jim's kept it together. He's kept them playing hard.
Jackson is 0 for 2 in this game. Austin last night had another 3-hit game. And we have a balk, so move Avila to second base.
That is the first balk of the year by Davies, and you could see that he stopped and he started, and that balk was called by the man that saw it, and that would be the third base umpire, Dan Iasonia.
Foul back. Jackson now has 14 3-hit games this year, 14 of them, which is the most by a Tigers rookie since 1980. Remember this name, Rick Peters?
Sneaky Pete.
Sneaky Pete. He had 15 that year, 3-hit games.
Sneaky Pete is refereeing some high school and college basketball in Arizona.
Is he?
Yes, he is. He's a good one, too. In good shape. Funny guy.
Bouncing ball right side. And muffed by Butler. Can he get it there in time? Safe at first base.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, that could be a huge play in this game. A routine ground ball. Butler unable to come up with it. Avila takes third.
This is the difference between Billy Butler and some other first baseman, and they're trying to get him to be more aggressive here, and that's to grab it and simply try to get the out himself at first base instead of always relying on fielding that ground ball and knowing the pitcher's going to be there. They want Billy to be more aggressive over at first. He's still learning that position, but as long as he drives in more than he lets in, he's going to be okay.
Well, here's Will Rhymes trying to break this tie. The Tigers have tied it up on the Casper Wells homer. Now they have a walk and an error, putting 2 aboard.
Rhymes has shown the uncanny ability in these types of situations to drive in runs. Big runs.
None bigger than the 2 he drove in a couple of nights ago with the triple in the extra innings. Way outside, 1-0.
That was almost like a pitch out. They were anticipating that Jackson would be stealing there, and therefore the high fastball in the mid-90s, which would have been a really good ball for Pena, the catcher, to throw should Jackson have been on the run.
And there he goes, big jump too, and no throw at all. Jackson steals it standing up, his 22nd of the year. Now a single gets you 2. Meanwhile, Davies now having trouble with the strike zone, 3-0.
Davies was cruising coming into this inning, and I mean cruising. But second time through the batting order, and now third time through the batting order. We gave you the numbers. The Tigers have done to Davies what most teams have done. The numbers drastically better second time through.
Although he should be out of this inning with that ground ball hit the Butler.
That's true.
26 pitches in this inning. Avila is at third. Jackson is at second. And the 3-0. Rhymes taking ball 4. That will load him up. Second walk in the inning, third for the game for Davies.
Well, Davies came into play today averaging almost 4 base on balls per 9 innings, which does not bode well for him. And it's one of the worst statistics for him in the American League. It's not good when you walk 4 per game. And you give up as many hits as Davies has given up in the past. Not so much today, but he's given up a lot of hits this year.
As a matter of fact, the last time the Tigers faced him, he gave up 12 hits in 4 2/3 innings. That was back on August 24th. Call being made to the bullpen right now as they start to stir down there. It was looking like he wasn't going to need much help in the near future, but they have changed their ideas now as the bullpen starts to work. Bases are loaded. And the question now is, can the Tigers take advantage of these walks? As Greg Holland begins to warm up.
Here's where if you're Johnny Damon, after that pitching coach usually makes a visit out to the mound when a pitcher is struggling. You sit on that first pitch fastball, and if you get it, you try to put your best swing on it. Breaking ball.
One and 0. Johnny today is 0 for 2. He's hit the ball in the air. He is grounded out. And it's 2-0 with no place to put Johnny Damon.
These are good counts to hit in the big leagues. And these where the big league players make their money. 2-0 counts, bases loaded, predictable fastball count.
Don't want to mess with the on-deck hitter either. That's Cabrera. The 2-0 pitch, a wave and a miss.
Change piece. Ooh, what a pitch.
Talk about not giving in.
What a pitch. This is a separation kind of pitch. Knowing what Damon was looking for, he had the ability to throw that changeup and locate it in an area where Damon could do nothing with it.
Three and 1. Cabrera waiting on deck. Tigers got the home run by Wells here in the 5th to tie it up, but a big error by Butler has opened the door. They are loaded with 2 outs. Damon trying to cash in on 3-1, and he fouls it away. 3 and 2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out off speed, and Damon goes down with the bases loaded. Tigers tied up, but they lead 3. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire.
To find the seats you want or to sell the tickets to the games that you just can't make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Detroit Tigers. Go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
Well, it's a 1-1 ball game. Tigers had a golden opportunity. Davies, by the way, threw 33 pitches in that inning, and he got out of it. They left him loaded, but the Tigers tied up on the home run by Casper Wells.
He made his 2 best pitches of the game today to Johnny Damon, and they were both changeups. One in a 2-1 count. The other one came on the 3-2 offering. Tremendous pitches by Davies.
Here's Mike Aviles to lead it off against Galarraga. Bottom of the 5th inning in Kansas City as Aviles shows bunt. 1 ball to no strikes. Butler to follow. Then Kai Hue. Aviles 0 for 2, ground ball, fly ball. There have been 11 men left on base in this game between the two teams. 6 already for the Royals and now 5 for Detroit. Galarraga had himself just a 9-pitch 4th. But he's fallen behind 2-0 on Aviles. And a strike call, 2-1. Mike Aviles underwent the Tommy John surgery last year. And another one that missed. 3 balls, 1 strike.
He had a standout rookie campaign in 2008, did Aviles, and he came back as the shortstop in 2009. And you talked about the Tommy John surgery, which kept him out the remainder of the year. And he's still trying to earn playing time these days.
Well, he's got himself a walk here. That's going to be 5 walks for Galarraga.
Well, you know Billy Butler, their number 3 hitter, their most dangerous hitter, who already has 2 hits in this game. He's not going to bunt. But he's also prone to hitting the double plays. If Galarraga can throw something at the bottom of the strike zone, he's got that big swing. And he does not get out of the batter's box very well. And when you add in the fact that he does not have a lot of speed, you get lots of double play balls grounded into.
The 2 starting pitchers today have combined for 8 walks. And to this point, none of them have scored.
That will change if they continue to pitch around contact.
Outside, 1-0. Billy Butler, a double and a single in this game, plus a run scored. Looks like Brad Thomas is again throwing in the Tigers bullpen. The 5 walks by Galarraga equals a season high.
It's the third time that Thomas has been up. Most managers will get you in the game if they get you up for the third time. And if they get you up once, maybe twice, and once you get up for that third time, you're pretty much coming into the game at some point in time.
High fly ball right field. Bosch going back. And back to first base goes Aviles. 1 out. Still wondering why Thomas was throwing in that first inning. Galarraga did give up a single and a walk in that frame, and then that ball was misplayed in right field by Bosch, which drove in a run.
It's a good point. I was wondering the same thing. And the only thing that I could think of is that maybe there was something about Galarraga going into the start that we just did not know all that much about, whether he didn't feel good in the bullpen or something. But you don't usually see guys getting up in the first inning. Galarraga's pitching away from too much contact today. He's been so good. He's really his last few starts at strike one, getting ahead. He's not been all that efficient today.
Aviles at first base with 1 out. Kaihue takes a strike on the outer edge.
As a matter of fact, Galarraga is just 9 of 21 in first pitch strikes.
Whoa.
But the score is still 1-1.
Well, but the point you just made is well taken. If he continues to walk batters and pitch away from contact, that's not a good recipe. It should get back into the seats. Inge is not giving up on it, and it does get back into the camera. Well, then back into the seats.
Something else that people probably don't know about the Kansas City Royals, even though they're buried in 4th place, several games under 500, they've got a pretty good hitting team. They get lots of hits. There's only a couple of teams that have more hits than the Kansas City Royals, and that's the Minnesota Twins and the Texas Rangers. They're 3rd in the American League. Tigers are 4th in hits, that is.
Based on the standings, you would not guess that. You certainly wouldn't put KC up there, but their .274 team average is one of the best averages in the American League.
I mean, coming into play today, the Tigers have more hits than Boston, more hits than New York. And, of course, so does Kansas City.
Two and two the count. There are your leaders, Minnesota, Texas leading the way in the American League. KC at .274. Yet when you look at the run column, they are near the bottom of the league, and a lot of the hits obviously have been singles.
Yep, no production.
Two and two on Kila Kaihue. Yes, he is from Hawaii. The 2-2 pitch outside, 3-2. And again, I'll ask the question, where do guys from Hawaii go for vacation?
They might just go to different islands. I don't know what island he's from, but you can't go wrong over there. You really can't. Beaches are beautiful. The weather is spectacular. The scenery is unbelievable.
The runner goes on 3-2 with a huge jump, and what a play at first base by Cabrera. He stabs it off to his right on the backhand.
Well, one of the things that you have to brace yourself for if you're a first baseman and you have to hold that base runner on and you've got to pull hitter up, you've got to bounce off that bag and you've got to be on the balls of your feet, which allows you to make plays. And that ball right at Cabrera, able to stab it and get the outs.
2 gone, move the runner to second and bring up Wilson Bettamy. Cabrera, even he thought that ball was scalded.
I really would not give Bettamy a whole lot to hit here. 2 outs, base open.
It's kind of the same situation back in the third.
Yep.
And they walked him. Problem is, they then walked Gordon. Wilson 1 for 1.
He came into play as their best hitter with runners in scoring position, although he only has 191 at bats.
And he rolls this one to second base. Rhymes scoops it up. Betemeter's out. Inning is over. Another walk is stranded. No runs, no hits, one left.
Baseball game here, at least that's what the score tells us this afternoon. It's 1-1, and if you want to follow the Tigers, you can do it on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phones with MLB.com At Bat 2010, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit Tigers.com today for more details. It looks like they're following the Tigers on one of those devices.
Might want to watch the game. There's a game going on here.
Well, as long as they're behind the screen and they don't get hit, they're okay.
Cabrera leading it off. In the sixth inning, Cabrera, Peralta, and Bosch.
Hate to mess up those faces.
1-1 is our score. Casper Wells with a homer. And another one that misses. 2-0 the count on Mr. Cabrera, who today is 0 for 2. Kyle Davies had 62 pitches through 4 innings, and then he threw 33 in the fifth, which just jumped his pitch count up to near 100 now. All it takes is one bad inning. Yet he gave up just the 1 run. The Tigers stranded 3. Strike called. Up with the right hand goes Jerry Meals. 2-2 on Miguel. 2-run double in the first inning last night was one of 2 hits for Cabrera. And he checked it high. 3-2. Lifted to center field, fairly deep. Mitch Meyer shading his eyes. 1 gone. So Cabrera is 0 for 3 today. Here comes Johnny Peralta. Johnny 0 for 2, both times hitting the ball to the center fielder Meyer. That'll get back in his seats quickly. 0-1 on Peralta. Johnny's been somewhat of an RBI machine since joining the Tigers. 18 RBIs in his last 19 games. Even made his debut at first base a couple of nights ago in that game in Minnesota. The game that Cabrera had to leave.
He made a nice play in that game. As a matter of fact, a couple of plays over at first base, and he was joking with Cabrera after the game, and he told Cabrera, "I might take your position. Watch out."
Yeah, not likely. 0-2. Peralta said Jim didn't ask him if he could play or wanted to play first base. He told him to go play first base.
Well, if you've played shortstop and if you've played third base, I guess all Jim was really concerned about was the fact that he would catch the ground balls.
And that he did. Really with relative ease. There's another foul back out of play.
Now, there's a whole lot more to really playing that first base position than just catching ground balls. But in that situation, he was pressed into duty because of the Cabrera injury, I should say, and did nice work over there.
Here's the 0-2.
Cabrera will not say, but I will say it for him. He's not 100% today. Jim tried to talk him out of the lineup before the game started, as a matter of fact, this afternoon. Not swinging the bat all that well. But he's a gamer.
That's a base hit up the middle for Johnny Peralta. 1-out single. Tigers have just their third hit of the afternoon. The other two belong to Casper Wells.
And not to take anything from Kyle Davies, who has pitched Cabrera tough today.
Here comes Bosch with 1 on 1 out. Davies now has thrown 107 pitches. Ball 1. And now Pena walks out to the mound. Tigers back home tomorrow. They got the White Sox coming in. Scherzer and Edwin Jackson, the former Tiger. Don't forget, tomorrow's a day game, 1:05 start.
It'll be the third start this year that Edwin has made against his former club. His first two pretty good.
The 1-0. Saw Gilmesh warming up in their bullpen. Brad Thomas again. He's warming up in the Detroit bullpen.
Well, if Brad's throwing, that means he must be coming into the game.
That's in the air. Shallow left field. Gordon coming on. Bosch is out, and the runner retreats. 2 gone. So that's going to bring up the hitting hero today, Casper Wells, a single and a homer. He has provided the Tigers with their only run. Royals took the lead on the RBI double by Betemit in the first. .341 now this season in the big leagues for Wells.
It's going to be a busy offseason for David Dombrowski, Al Avila, the assistant general manager, all the major league scouts, and Jim Leland when they go down to Florida shortly after the season's over, and to see exactly which direction they are going to go in 2011.
Well, a lot has been made in terms of how much money is coming off the books for the Tigers in terms of their payroll. But when you look at the free agent crop this offseason, it is not one of these stronger free agent crops.
And the one big fish out there I don't think they could afford, and that's Carl Crawford. Well, maybe. Who knows?
Well, they could probably afford him. It's just a matter of whether you want to give all the years that I'm sure Crawford's going to want.
Well, really, you can only have 2 guys on your roster that command that kind of money. And when you're paying Verlander what you're paying him and you're paying Cabrera,
that's right,
what you're paying him, you can't really take on another salary like a Carl Crawford salary. So the creativity comes into play, and there has to be some luck involved. But no doubt the president, CEO, and general manager Dave Dombrowski will be real busy this offseason.
Wells checks his swing, and it missed outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Casper. And what they do this offseason, I suppose, will also figure in on what a lot of these young players, or where a lot of these young players will be next year.
Well, some of these guys have proven that they could play up here. So who knows? They might be added in deals and going other places. They could find themselves in competition in 2011 for a job on the roster. None of them have really hurt themselves, to be perfectly honest with you.
That's driven in the air toward left. It's shallow. Here comes Gordon. He's there, and that is that. So the Tigers get a 1-out single, strand him in. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning here in KC. Still 1-1.
For the freeze cam, it's courtesy of Coors Light. Casper Wells, it was back in the 5th. 2-seam fastball that ran in on him. But take a look at the concentration here. The head is down. He pulls his hands in nicely. And when you're able to do that, every now and then you can hit the ball out of the ballpark. And Casper has done that for the 2nd time on this road trip. Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by your Frost Brew Coors Light.
So Wells has been the hitting hero in the ball game here today. Hey, look at that. We got a couple of fans here
from Oxford,
Michigan.
#1 fans, too.
I saw a couple of guys outside of the ballpark the other day that had giant pictures of our heads on sticks. We fortunately didn't find them in the stands to shoot them. Wallside Windows pitching change. Brad Thomas is in now.
Well, there's no doubt Thomas is loose. He's thrown quite a few pitches out in that bullpen today. And I like his numbers. The numbers aren't bad. 41 games for the roles that he has played this year. He's had spot starts. He's had long relief. He's pitched late in games. He comes in with 5 wins and an earned run average, just a shade over 4 in the American League for the variety of roles that he's played for this team out in the bullpen.
Oh, boy. High and deep right field. It is going to go. It's a home run on the first pitch against Thomas here in the sixth.
The first pitch fastball that looked like it was right down the middle. And that's the second home run that Gordon has hit in this series against a left-hander. He took Daniel Slayerth deep a couple of nights ago. That was a hanging breaking ball. This was a hanging fastball. And they don't get to the catcher's glove.
So the Royals take a 2-1 lead, the 7th home run of the year for Alex Gordon.
I don't even think that was a strike, to be honest with you.
I don't think it was either.
But he went up there looking for a first pitch fastball, and he got it. That's just a good scouting report. Kevin Seitzer's their hitting coach, and apparently that's the scouting report that they have on Brad Thomas, is that he's going to throw you a first pitch fastball.
Brian Pena, the batter, double in a fly ball. And he cuts and misses.
Pena's taken a couple of swings today, and the swings look like he's swinging underwater. Just very slow.
.372 feet on that home run by Alex Gordon. Each side with a solo shot. Wells has one for Detroit and Gordon for the Royals.
If Gordon can get it together for the Kansas City Royals going into 2011, they will be a much, much better team. If they can get some of the production out of him that they thought they were getting when they drafted him.
To the shortstop, Peralta. That's an out, one away. Right now we go back to the studio. Time for a game break. Here's Trevor Thompson. All right, Trev, thank you. A Matt Trainer sighting, apparently. Texas has an 8-game lead on Oakland. The Angels are 10.5 out.
That Twinkies team just continues to amaze me, and I don't know why. They do it every year, but they just continue to amaze me at their efficiency.
There has to be something about the way their players come up in their system because, oh, look out. There's a hit batter. Miller will take first base. They had Valencia come up, and this kid has given them a lot. It seems like every time they dip to the minor leagues, whether it's for a pitcher who made a spot start the other night or a position player, they just get it done.
Yep. Well, they've got some constants, though. And they've got Terry Ryan, who now works very closely with Bill Miller, their current general manager. And they got Ron Gardenhire, who as well, who worked very closely with Tom Kelly when Tom Kelly was their manager. And there are a lot of managers around baseball. When Kelly was managing, they kind of patterned themselves after Tom Kelly. He was a tremendous motivator and a really good manager. So those are some constants that Minnesota does have. Consistency in that front office.
There is Yuniesky Betancourt, 1 on, 1 out. Thomas taking over for Galarraga, who threw 95 pitches before departing.
And Yuniesky has had one of your better offensive years this year for all shortstops in the majors. He's had a very nice offensive season, power numbers wise.
Betancourt in this series, though, has been relatively quiet. He does have a couple of RBIs, but he is 1 for 11. Bouncing ball hit to the right side. Rhymes has trouble with it. Fires to second. That's all they're going to get. Cost him the double play. Just couldn't get it out of the glove.
This may be a play if you're Rhymes. You may want to think about turning the other way. I mean, turn around and do a reverse pirouette to get makes it easier. I mean, he's trying to set his feet and throw at the same time and just could not get the ball out of his glove. But if you grab that ball, you turn the other way, you give that ball to Johnny, you may have gotten a double play there.
So here's Mitch Meyer with 2 outs. 0 for 3 for Meyer. Mentioned the leadoff spot today, bounced into a double play back in the second. Otherwise, he has hit the ball to left field twice. Two 2-0. Meyer was a catcher in college, but as a freshman set the MAC record for stolen bases while he was at Toledo, so he can run, as evidenced by the fact that he's playing center field today. And no longer catching, an outfielder here in the Royals system. Here's the 2-1. Nope, he's going to go back to first base. And Meyer is, again, one of those guys that you look at him physically and you think, well, this guy has the ability to drive the ball in the gaps, hit the ball out of the ballpark. He has 5 home runs this year. Born in Petoskey, went to high school in Novi, and he rolls this one to Rhymes. Bobbles it momentarily, and Meyer is out. Inning is over, but they do take the lead. Gordon homers, and the Royals are up 2-1. As our score as we go to the top of the 7th here at Kauffman Stadium, and the Tigers McDonald's Player of the Game voting is presented by the new Angus Snack Wraps. Here's how the voting is going. Casper Wells is leading the way with 47% of the vote, followed by Cabrera and then Brandon Inge. See the final results at the end of the game, and check your text response for special offers from McDonald's. Kyle Davies is done for the afternoon, so both starters are out.
Well, Davies was cruising through the first 4 innings, and the Tigers started to stress him out a little bit and got that pitch count up, and that's why Gil Mesh is in the game now, pitching in only his 12th game this year for Kansas City. He's had quite a few different injuries this year.
Inge leads it off. Brandon to be followed by Avila, and then Austin Jackson. Couldn't hold up.
That's what Mesh does, and that has been one of the reasons why he has had success in the big leagues. He's got that high fastball that he used to throw in the 95-mile-per-hour range, and he's got that big breaking ball, that 12-6 breaking ball in the same arm slot, which has made him tough to pick up.
Mesh had been sidelined since May 29th with bursitis in his right shoulder.
And when they brought him over 5 years ago, it was one of their biggest signings that they had ever had. 5-year, $55 million contract they gave Gil Mesh.
Betancourt handles the ground ball. Inge is out.
That's why his uniform number is 55.
Here's Alex Avila.
And it looks like his days in the Kansas City Royals uniform might be numbered, the fact that they've got him pitching out of the bullpen these days.
Well, he's 32 years old now.
That's still young.
Avila takes a strike from Gilmesh. Actually, technically, he will not be 32 until Wednesday, so I jumped the gun on that. Avila in this game with a walk and a strikeout. There's a strike, 0-2. Mesh in his first year with KC, when he came over and signed that contract, he was 9-13, but his ERA was really good, 3.67. Then he won 14 games the year after that. Only 6 games last year, made 23 starts. The injuries started to set in. 1-2 on Avila. 2-1 Kansas City. We're in the 7th. Two and two. Swing and a miss, and Avila goes down. Mesh with his first strikeout of the game. 2 gone here in the Tigers' 7th. He's going to bring up the top of the order, Austin Jackson. Jackson 0 for 3, reaching on an error, but did not score in the 5th. In fact, Austin has scored 20 runs in his last 15 games, and he's getting closer and closer to 100 runs scored this year. He has 89 as we speak.
I was listening to the post-game radio show here locally last night, and Ned Yost, their manager, was asked about Austin Jackson, and he said, well, what is there not to like? The kid can do it all.
The 0-1. Bouncing ball left side. Routine play there for Bettamy. Jackson is out. Tigers go quietly against Gilmesh. No runs, no hits, nobody left. Stretch time here in KC. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by your neighborhood Spartan store. For locations, check out turntospartan.com. And by National Coney Island, fast, fresh, and friendly since 1965. Back here at Kansas City, boy, this stadium now has become a place to be here. Kauffman Stadium has so much for the kids and adults as well. The Comerica game summary: Casper Wells 2 for 3, solo homer in this game. Butler has 2 more hits in this one, and Alex Gordon's home run is the difference right now as the Royals have a 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th, and the Tigers have dipped back into their bullpen. 1 inning for Thomas today, and he gives way now to Eddie Bonine.
Well, Bonine just needs to keep the score right where it's at. It's been a very productive year for Bonine. He's got the fastball in the low 90s. He's got a nice little breaking ball. He's thrown quite a few of this year, and Jim Leland has really encouraged Bonine really all season to throw that knuckleball, and it's been a good pitch for Eddie as well.
Tigers came out of spring camp a little bit short-handed with the injuries to Zach Miner and Bobby C., and Eddie Bonine has filled in admirably. So for the Royals, Mike Aviles will lead it off. He'll be followed by Butler and then Ka'aihue. It is a 2-1 game. The difference, the Gordon home run in the 6th. Aviles reaching in the 5th inning on a walk. Galarraga threw 95 pitches before departing. There's a bouncing ball deep in the hole. It's short on the backhand. Peralta. 1 pitch, 1 out. That'll bring up Billy Butler. Another big day for Butler. Single, double, runs scored, 2 out of 3. He is a career .311 hitter. Butler now has hit safely in 17 of his last 20. That's rolled foul. 0-2. As the Royals go forward, it just seems like they need to find some more offensive pieces to go around Billy Butler.
They feel like they have those guys, and Gordon is one, of course. Josh Fields, who they made a deal for from the White Sox, they feel like he could be a big piece.
One and 2 on Butler.
This much we do know: Billy Butler does not go many games in a row without getting a hit, that's for sure. As a matter of fact, consecutive series with at least 1 hit. Nick Markakis 131. Butler is second with 95. And you got Phillips, you got Maurer, and you got Dan Uggla.
Roll toward the shortstop. Peralta gets in front of this one. And his throw is right on the money.
So that means at least every 4 days or every single series, Billy Butler's on the base pass via a base hit. But how about Nick Markakis? 131 consecutive series.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's an incredible statistic for Markakis. So Butler now is 2 out of 4. Here is Ka'aihue. Ball 1. Keela today with a walk. He's had a couple of RBIs, actually 3 in the series. All 3 of his home runs this year have come against Tigers pitching.
As a matter of fact, that series, that consecutive hits streak for Markakis, you got to go all the way back to May of 2008 in a series where he did not get at least 1 hit against the opposition.
I was wondering how that was going to figure out in terms of the math. 131 series.
He's a really good player, but a lot of people don't talk about him a lot because Baltimore is always buried in last place in the East, and they don't play on national television. So unless you follow the game closely, a guy like Markakis, a lot of people really don't know that much about him.
So that's 9 walks now between the two pitching staffs here today. And Jim Leland making a walk out to the mound. The walk to Kaihue keeps the inning going. Betamete is due up. They'll go back to the bullpen. And that's going to be it for Eddie Bonine, who faces 3 batters in this game, retires 2 of them. And as the Tigers go to the pen, Daniel Schlereth will come in. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning, Daniel Schlereth comes on to face Wilson Betamete.
And the one thing that Schlereth needs to do when he does decide to throw his breaking ball, he needs to keep that breaking ball at the bottom of the strike zone in an area where he cannot get hurt with it. He's given up 2 home runs, both of which have come to left-handed batters as we look at the splits on Wilson Betamete.
Betamete doubled in a run in the first inning. .313 hitter this year. 2-1 KC, bottom of the 7th, 2-out walk has kept the inning alive. Schlereth missing outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Daniel came over from the Arizona Diamondbacks along with Max Scherzer in that deal that sent Edwin Jackson to the Diamondbacks. A former #1 draft choice out of the University of Arizona. He's got a fastball in the mid-90s and an outstanding curveball, but he just needs to locate it better.
Pretty good location there, 1-2. Schlereth down in the minor leagues at Toledo this year with a 2.37 ERA. He struck out 60 in 49 innings.
Not a whole lot to prove down in AAA anymore for Schlereth.
Missed away again. Run it now to 3 balls, 2 strikes. Only 3 Tigers hits today. In fact, KC has only 5. There have been a ton of walks, though. Runner will go here on 3-2, and he's on the move, and a line drive caught by the second baseman, Will Rhymes. Hit it hard, but Rhymes hauls it in. 7 in the books here in KC. One is our score as we go to the top of the 8th inning, and if Jose Valverde is credited with a save in this game, text Zoom to 37338 to enter to win a party and a Comerica Park suite. It is brought to you by Mazda. Tigers have some work to do now, down by a run. Robinson Tejeda comes in out of their bullpen.
Tejeda's a power pitcher. He's got a plus fastball in the mid to upper 90s, 46 strikeouts in 50 innings validate that point. And when he's pitching well, he's tough to hit. The opponent's batting average is .222 against Robinson.
That'll be coming in at third base as Rhymes leads it off, and he takes strike one. Will has walked a couple of times. He has that 12-game hitting streak going. 0 for 1 officially. That Rhymes hitting streak at 12 in a row is the longest by a Tigers rookie since 2002 when Omar Infante had a 12-gamer that year. Infante an all-star this year over in the National League.
Omar Infante has a really good chance of winning the batting title in the National League this year. He does not qualify right now for the amount of plate appearances that you need to win a batting title, but when he does qualify, he will be leading the National League by a pretty good margin. Bobby Cox, as a matter of fact, has been leading Omar Infante off in games, trying to get him the necessary plate appearances.
Rhymes one pitch away from drawing another walk. And he walks indeed, so that's 3 walks on the day for Will Rhymes. Well, the Tigers really have had their way with the Royals bullpen. And the leadoff walk by Tejeda here now puts the tying run on.
And Ned Yost is just trying to get through this inning so he can get to his closer. And Soria, and walks are a problem. Yeah, the throw over there by Tejada is to see if Damon is up there to sacrifice in this situation. He does not do it very often, nor does Johnny hit into many double plays. And that's one of the reasons why he does not get many sac bunt opportunities from his skipper. And when you add the fact that Cabrera is standing in that on-deck circle, why would you open up first base so they could walk him? A lot of people talk about hitting behind Cabrera and how good a spot that is, but hitting in front of Cabrera is even a better spot to hit in.
Damon takes high, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Royals bullpen has a team ERA of 4.58, which is dead last in the American League. And the Tigers today trying to come back against that bullpen here in the 8th. Ground ball back towards second. This should be 2. Betancourt's relay is a double play. 4-6-3.
One of the hardest guys in the American League to double up is Johnny Damon. And he hits a bullet right at Aviles, who starts the double play, finished by Betancourt. That is now only the 5th double play that Johnny Damon has hit into this year.
That's a big one for KC. Here comes Cabrera now with the bases empty.
Sometimes all you could do is hit it hard, which Johnny did.
Miguel today is 0 for 3. And his average now at .335. He flied to center field his last time up. 2-0 the count. That shot to right field, hit pretty deep. Miller going back in front of the wall to make the catch. A line drive out for Miguel Cabrera. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Still 2-1. Bid on gift baskets packed by Tigers wives that are filled with their husband's favorite things. Each basket features unique items. Many include autographed memorabilia and other special gifts. Proceeds from the My Favorite Things auction benefit the Tigers Foundation. If you'd like more details, visit tigers.com/wives. And that's always a fun thing that we do. Well, we did it last year. I remember we had Shaney Inge with us in the booth and talking about that great opportunity to bid on some items, some of their favorite things of the Tigers players. And that's coming up next week, your opportunity to bid, so check that out online. Alex Gordon is leading it off here in the 8th inning. Gordon, Pena, and Miller facing Daniel Schlereth. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Also this year, we had the opportunity to put together our baskets. What'd you put in yours, Ryan?
I think I put some coffee in mine. I think I put a gift certificate in there, maybe for some beans and cornbread, a little soul food, some peanut butter and jelly, some cookies, just a few little things that I like to do and eat.
2-1 on Gordon.
How about you?
Well, I'm a Spartan grad, so I've got a couple of tickets to a Spartan football game and some Oakland University memorabilia for OU basketball, since I call their games of the offseason. That's popped up right side of the infield, and Ryan's hauls it in.
No food?
Oh, there's food. There's a gift certificate to Carrabba's in there. So there's a whole lot of stuff. I mean, it's going to be fun because I think it also provides a unique perspective of the players and what their favorite things are, and their wives don't hold back. These baskets are usually pretty full.
Well, it's all for charity too, so that's a good thing too. That makes it even more special.
Absolutely. So we invite you to join us next week for the broadcast, and you can bid. Here's Brian Pena. Ball outside. 1-0 on Pena. By the way, Galarraga's basket has an iPod Shuffle in it. There's the 1-0, and there's a strike. 1-1. I'm told that John Keating's basket has hairspray in it.
Really? How about that?
That's one of Keith's favorite things.
That's beautiful.
Double for 3 for Pena, and he takes a strike. 1-2. He's down in the count. Schlereth came out of the 7th, and he got Benamy to line out. trying to work through the 8th. That's on the ground to the shortstop. Nice play by Peralta. And Pena's out 2 gone.
Johnny's been smooth at shortstop. I mean smooth.
Everything that he gets to, he makes a play on.
Nice little backhanded play right here. A couple of steps to his right, plants on that right foot. Nice firm throw. He knows he has plenty of time to get the out. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him next year. He's only 27 years old.
I know, and that's something that kind of caught me by surprise when we first acquired Johnny.
I mean, he's in his prime. Get there, Johnny.
That one's going to get through, and it's a 2-out single for Jay Miller. And that is the 6th hit of the game for Kansas City. Tigers today have been limited to 3 hits. Yuniesky Betancourt with 2 outs. Tigers are going to have to come back against the closer of the Royals when we get to the 9th inning. There is Joaquin Soria warming up.
He's an all-star and one of the best closers in the business.
Driven to center field. Austin Jackson is there to end the inning. Inning and a third, scoreless baseball for Schlereth out of the Tigers' pen. We go to the 9th. All right, Trev, thank you very much. Here is last call for the Tigers as we go to the 9th inning. It is 2-1 in favor of Kansas City, and Joaquin Soria, their closer, has come on to try and put this one in the win column for them. Johnny Peralta leads it off and takes the ball outside, 1-0.
And Soria has not blown many saves this year, but one of those saves that he did blow, he blew right here against the Tigers, and it was a long time ago, that opening series of the year.
To the second baseman, knocked down by Aviles. He stays with it, and Peralta is out. Soria's last blown save at home that you speak of was on that Cabrera home run in right field back in April. That was the last time that he's done it here at home. Well, he's got the first man out. And that's going to bring up Bosch, who can tie it up with one swing of the bat. And it's 0-2 on Bosch.
That's one of the things that Soria has that some closers don't have. He has overpowering stuff, and he has a wide assortment of pitches, but he has unbelievable command as well. He can pretty much throw the baseball where he wants to throw the baseball. And he's got that real slow breaking ball that he will throw on occasion. We just saw it there at 68 miles an hour.
Soria right now has a scoreless inning streak of 16 1/3. The 1-2 is low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's already thrown Bosch a fastball in the mid-90s. Threw him that slow curveball at 68. Then he comes back with a changeup at 84 miles an hour. So that's why he's so tough to hit.
And now he's gone to 3-2 on Bosch.
It's not a given that Bosch will get a fastball here. And then again, he might, because Soria knows he can throw it where he wants to throw it.
You got Bosch here. You got Wells on deck. 2 guys that can go deep. 3-2 the count on Brennan. And he got it. Strike 3 on the outer edge. Bosch trying to coax a walk, but he couldn't do it.
Took something off that fastball. 89 on the reading after throwing mid-90s fastballs. Little two-seam variety. Fox said no.
Said it was outside. That's why Bosch thought he had a walk, but Jerry Meals disagreed. And now with 2 outs, here's Wells. Only 3 Tigers hits today. 2 of them by Casper, a single and a homer. Strike 1.
This guy's good.
That would miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. The only other Tiger hit a single by Peralta. Fouled away. So it's 1-2 on Casper Wells. Royals 1 strike away from avoiding the sweep. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and the Royals will win it here today. A 1-2-3 inning for Joaquin Soria. In a game that took 2 hours 46 minutes to play, the Royals win the series finale here, as the Tigers manage only 3 hits this afternoon. And they're only run the home run by Wells. There's your final score, 2-1, KC a winner. And we'll be back to Kauffman Stadium right after this.